This is a Freightliner 219. If you look at here the mechanism, how the truck keeps balance, that's a mechanical mechanism. That portion here attached to the frame that is the bottom of the suspension. And that rod have a leverage that controls that air valve. If you look at the air valve, it has two, those are not electrical, those are air hoses. The air hoses are connected. One of them goes to the front airbag suspension, and the other one goes somewhere else. That portion, when you have a ditch on the ground, so the frame will be dropped down in the ditch on this side, not on the other side. So it will pull this lever down, it will pull this handle down, it will switch something inside, it will change the air pressure between these two hoses, letting this part to expand to compensate for the drop. That is a very decent balancing mechanism. It is not electrical, it is completely mechanical, it is pneumatic. When you look at the front, this is the front brake. It does not have an emergency because this is the steer. It has only one cylinder air drum, and it's old-fashioned a drum and shoes, the horse shoes. On the back, you have two chambers here. You have emergency and surface brakes, and this is the old-fashioned brake system. That has the drums and the shoes. We wanted to see if the back also can have a balancing mechanism. Balancing means if one side dropped in a ditch, can the other side compensate? This is a very tough, rugged system. It doesn't have that mechanism because the wheels are very wide. You wonder how do you release air from these air tanks? Most probably the only way to release air is to turn this around with a hammer. Turn it this way or that way. I think that's the air valve. I don't see an air release system or anything in these tanks from outside where you can release air without a hammer. You have to have a hammer to release air. These are two air tanks on this side. On this side also you have a small air tank. You cannot release air by pulling something. I thought you should have a wire from here to the bottom when you pull the wire to release air, but it doesn't look like that. It looks like you have to use a hammer on it. And if you look at the front part of the drive, that white hose is the transmission, or what you call it, the lock. When you lock 4 wheels or 2 wheels, that is the white hose that goes to the front and lock it. So the front of the drive is the primary drive, and when you lock it, whether automatic or manual, you lock the rear gearbox to the front gearbox. And this air tank is for the brakes. That is what you call it, an auxiliary air tank. When you run out of air, that tank will take you for another maybe few minutes before your air is completely depleted.